One of the biggest dangers when you're starting an internet business is targeting the wrong keywords. Many beginners and even experienced marketers sometimes fall into the trap of targeting incomplete keyword phrases or phrases with keywords in the wrong order. This can lead to many weeks or months of wasted time and effort. In this video, we'll be taking a look at how to avoid this trap by using keyword phrase permutations. Specifically, we'll be covering what phrase permutations are, why they're important, and how to investigate permutations using Market Samurai. In the context of using Market Samurai, a keyword phrase permutation is simply a rearrangement of the words that make up the phrase. The easiest way to understand this is to take a look at an example. The phrase dog training collar has 6 possible permutations. Dog training collar, which is the original phrase, dog collar training, training dog collar, training collar dog training, and collar training dog. As you can see, each of these permutations is simply a rearrangement of the words in the original phrase. Let's now take a look at why these permutations are important. Occasionally, Google returns keyword phrases in a misleading word order. You can identify these phrases in Market Samurai by their low phrase to broad match ratio values. For example, the phrase dog train, shown here, has a very low PBR value, which indicates that these words are not commonly searched for in this order. If you mistakenly target one of these misleading phrases, you can fall into the trap of spending weeks or months optimizing your website only to find that you receive little or no traffic. This is why we usually filter out terms with a low PBR value. However, if you're interested in digging a little deeper, you can sometimes uncover some great keyword phrases to target by investigating phrases that have a high level of SEO traffic and a low PBR. Let's take a look at an example to illustrate how this strategy works. Once again, I'll start with the example of dog training. First of all, I'll access the Keyword Research module and click the Generate Keywords button to generate a list of related phrases. I'll then come down here and click the Keyword Analysis button. And as you can see, I've chosen to display only the SEO traffic and the PBR columns. I've also chosen No Filters as my filter setting. Now this time, I'll click on the PBR column heading twice in order to display the PBR values from lowest to highest. Now, as I scan down this list, what I'm looking for is a phrase that has a high SEOT value and a low PBR value, let's say under 10%. For example, let's take a look at dog training obedience. To examine this phrase in more detail, I'll begin by coming over here and clicking this key icon, which gives me a new tab with the term dog training obedience as the new seed keyword. I'll click on this tab and then I'll access the Keyword Research module again, and this time I'll come over here and click the Add Permutations button. Market Samurai then generates all the permutations of the phrase that I'm investigating. Having generated these permutations, I can come down and click the Keyword Analysis button. And with the SEOT and PBR columns being displayed, I can come up here and click the Analyze Keywords button to get my data. In this example, I can see that one of my permutations has a very high PBR, and it seems to make logical sense that people would be searching for dog obedience training rather than dog training obedience. You'll also notice that with the match type set to broad, all my permutations have the same SEO traffic value. However, if I change the match type to exact, I can see the difference in traffic potential for each of my permutations. The reason this is so important is that it allows me to identify the high traffic permutation and avoid these other low traffic permutations. So let me just recap what we've done here. We started with the seed keyword dog training and generated a list of related phrases. Next, we dug a little deeper and identified a phrase that had high traffic and a low PBR value, which was dog training obedience. We then generated the permutations of this phrase and discovered that one of these permutations had a much higher PBR. By doing this analysis, we were able to identify that the phrase dog obedience training would be a much better phrase to target than any of these other permutations. We also avoided the trap of building our business around one of these low traffic permutations, which might have been disastrous. Okay, let's now take a look at a second way to use the keyword permutations feature in Market Samurai. Sometimes, when you conduct a permutation analysis, you'll discover that all of your permutations have a low PBR. One possible reason for this is that there is a word missing in the phrase that you're analysing. Targeting a partial keyword phrase can be just as bad as optimizing for the wrong keyword combination. Once again, you can spend lots of time, energy and money to build a website only to discover later that you've overlooked an important word. Let's take a look at an example so you can see exactly how this works. In this example, I'm going to analyze the phrase solid metal. So to begin with, I'll access the Keyword Research module, and this time I'll come over here and click the Add Permutations button, and then click Keyword Analysis. And now with the SEOT and PBR columns being displayed, I'll click the Analyze Keywords button again to generate my data. As you can see, this search term has an incredibly high SEO traffic value, but both permutations have an extremely low PBR. Whenever you see this pattern of a high SEO traffic value combined with a low PBR on all permutations, it's worth checking whether there's a word missing in your search phrase. A good way to search for missing words is to generate other keywords using your search phrase as the seed keyword. To do this, I'll click Keyword Generation to go back to the Generate Keywords screen, and I'll then click the Generate Keywords button. This will allow me to generate longer tail keywords associated with my original seed keyword, solid metal. And when the keywords come back, I'll click the Keyword Analysis button again. If I sort these results by SEO traffic, I can see that the phrase Metal Gear Solid has an even higher SEO traffic value and, more importantly, a very high PBR, which means that this is a term that people are actually searching for. I can verify this by changing the match type from broad to exact. And if I scroll down, you'll see that the SEOT value for the term solid metal has dropped quite significantly. Now, if I'd targeted the term solid metal thinking that I'd discovered an untapped niche, I could have easily spent a lot of time, effort and money optimizing my website around a phrase that was missing a critical keyword. But thankfully, by investigating phrase permutations, I can avoid making this kind of costly mistake. The concepts we've covered in this video can be a little tricky to understand, so let's just take a moment to clarify the strategies that we've looked at and explain when you should actually use them. If you come across a phrase that has a high SEO traffic value and a low PBR, the first thing you should do is generate all the permutations of the phrase and analyze them to see if one of these permutations has a high PBR. This will allow you to identify the best word order of a particular phrase. If when you study these phrase permutations you discover that they all have a low PBR, then the next step is to check for missing words using the keyword generation feature, which generates longer tail derivative phrase alternatives. It's important to realize that Market Samurai is a very powerful and open-ended tool. By understanding concepts such as keyword phrase permutations, you'll gradually develop the skill and intuition you need to explore a niche and find the best opportunities to target. You'll also be able to avoid the traps of optimizing for keywords in the wrong word order or targeting incomplete phrases, and this will give you a much better chance of long-term success.